Hello, I'm Dr. Courtney Johnson, CEO of Johnson Learning Systems, and today we're going to be talking about another standard in our third grade math book, Math Fluency and Problem Solving. And today we'll be discussing comparing and ordering whole numbers. In the state of Texas, this skill set is represented by a standard 3.2D, and it states to compare and order whole numbers up to 100,000 and represent comparisons using the symbols greater than, less than, or equal to. The first word that I would like for you to pay attention to in this standard is the word compare. And whenever you're comparing something, you're trying to identify which number is bigger or smaller. You're trying to identify the differences when you're trying to compare anything. But when you're trying to compare numbers in math, you're trying to compare numbers to see which one is bigger or smaller. And the first skill set that we need to pay attention to in this standard is to compare and order. The next word I'd like for you to pay attention to is order, because when you're trying to see the word order, you're trying to put the numbers in the proper order. But what order is either going to be two types of ways. The first type of order is least to greatest. And I'm using the example of numbers, just basic numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The second way that you can order numbers is from greatest to least. And I'm having the greatest number first, which is 5, then 4, 3, 2, then 1. Moving on to the next slide, let's focus on the first statement of the standard, which is to compare and order whole numbers up to 100,000. Now, I definitely want to make sure you understand what the word whole number means. A whole number is just a regular number. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 100,000, but we're not going past 100,000. It says up to 100,000. Now, the next couple of words that we need to definitely pay attention to and understand is to represent comparisons. Now, to represent something is to show something, to stand for something, to represent something. You represent your school, you represent your city, the city you're from, you represent the state that you're from. So to represent is to show something, or to represent for and stand for something. And the next word is comparisons. And the word comparisons comes from the word compare. And again, when you're comparing, you're trying to see the differences between two different things. So you're going to represent the comparisons using the symbols greater than, less than, or equal to. So you're going to represent these numbers using these symbols, again, greater than, less than, or equal to. Let's focus on the symbols greater than or less than. Whenever I'm teaching students how to identify or understand how to be successful with this skill set, greater than and less than, I always compare it to an alligator mouth, because the greater than, less than symbols can resemble alligator mouths, and alligators are greedy and they want to eat the biggest meal. And these symbols are the same. They're going to eat the biggest number. Alligator, biggest meal. These symbols, the biggest number. Always remember, these symbols are going to eat the bigger number, and it's going to be pointing at the smaller number. Now, let's focus on these two numbers that we're comparing right here, 87 and 83. Is it greater than or less than? And you see that the alligator mouth is going to be eating the bigger number, and it is going to be pointing at the smaller number, which is 83. Now, let's look at a couple of word problems that can be on our state test that can represent this standard in these skill sets. The first one, as you're looking at it, says, which list of numbers has been compared in order from least to greatest? So you see compared and you see ordered, and we just went over that language within the standard, and we told you when you're ordering something, it's either going to be least to greatest or what? Greatest to least, as you know. The second type of problem you see here, it says, which of these numbers makes this comparison true? And you're looking at two different types of symbols. You're looking at the same symbols, but they could be going either direction, and you need to recognize which answer choice can fit between these numbers and make the entire comparison true. And lastly, this problem states in which circle will the number 56,395 make the comparison true. You see this language, comparison, and you're having to identify which comparison would be true if you put the number 56,395 within the circle. So you need to be able to understand that math language and to recognize which numbers are bigger and smaller and know the way in which you're going to be ordering your numbers. And lastly, don't forget about that alligator mouth is going to be eating the bigger number. Now, if you didn't understand everything within this standard, please rewind this video one more time and listen to it again. And hopefully it'll soak in and give you enough repetition so you can master this standard and these new skill sets. Thank you.